It's time for another comic yap! Welcome to the God of Blackfield, an action-adventure manhwa, which just so happens to start at a military camp somewhere in Africa. So we enter this tent, and there's a military briefing about their mission. And we learn that they're up against around 500 enemy combatants. They only have 50 soldiers. What's important to remember is this is a Korean manhwa. So the text in blue being French, and then there's Korean characters left in with the translation. This is to purposely let you know that this guy on the right, Daeru, he can't speak French at all. Why does this matter? Setup. That's all. Just setup. I love a little comedy to split up a tense situation. I use it all the time to get out of and/or create awkward situations and encounters. So they're yapping and they anger this guy, and we get a look at our main character. And then a closer look. And then an even closer look. And no, just kidding. But that would be funny too. So there's a bunch of back and forth, but let's skip ahead to the actual mission. To not alert the enemy forces, they gotta get off their vehicle and walk the rest of the way. They venture through this dense jungle when our main character stops. He senses danger, and Smithin calls him the GOB, God of Blackfield. So Smithin immediately gets shot and the onslaught begins. RMC, he activates his God of Blackfield cheat code, goes running into battle like Rambo, and is immediately shot in the head and dies. Whoops. He then starts hearing voices, and he's confused. He was certain he died, but the doctor says he has quick recovery speed because he's young. He didn't look like a young guy at the beginning. There's a series of back and forth panels where Kang, our American character, he's confused about the situation. And then also the doctor misconstruing his questions. Also notice they never fully show his face. Honestly, we barely saw his face at the beginning, so this kind of falls flat. I don't even think I would have noticed the difference. The reveal is it's a reincarnation manhwa. Ta-da! New body, who dis? We're instantly thrown into a car where Kang-chan, our main character, goes through a quick recap of everything that has happened to him, as if we couldn't follow along with all 2 chapters of information. Whoa, oh yeah, I remember that. Whoa, that happened so long ago. How could I have remembered? Wait, what happened again? He's not the first guy we saw? The reason I'm upset about this is because I've read quite a bit of this, and this continues to happen throughout the whole series. It really suffers from that, so I'm going to skip them for you. We meet his father and mother, or rather his body's parents, as they head home. He tries to do some reconnaissance on who he is and what happened to his old body, and luckily he can use the fingerprint login to break into this kid's phone because he doesn't know any of his passwords. But there's no information about what happened to him at all, or the situation. It's as if someone erased it on purpose. Then we meet this guy through text, Lee Hojin. There's a short back and forth when he gets this reply, and he's pretty shocked. But if you remember who he really is, then you know that this will not end well for Hojin. Kang finds this notebook and it's dark. It's the product of being bullied and tormented for years. Kang and his dad have a short heart-to-heart as he brings him to school. He gets there and can't remember, or rather, never knew where his classroom is. I love these subtle, humorous events. So while wandering the campus, someone calls out to him, and all the other students look shook. It's Lee Hojin, and he's mad, because Kang blocked him. Now Kang sees his name tag and laughs, which really angers the wannabe thug child. Kang ignores him and treats him like the child he is, so Hojin tells him to follow, and they go to a secluded gym where this brazen fellow practices his Honda punch and spouts villainous lines, so Kang puts him in his place. Yeah, it's gotta hurt. Just look how far he flew. But this isn't a kid's fight. No, Kang is a trained killer and stops just before actually ending Hojin, only because it would be a bit problematic. This happens in other manhwas as well, where the new host tries to appease or talk to the old inhabitant of the body they reincarnated in. Sometimes we even get like a small dialogue between the souls, or memories of the body's past flood in, and I got a headache of all these memories, but none of that happens here. Hojin gets up and starts attacking again, and Kang's confused. So he pops him again, and he realizes, oh yeah, duh, I'm not in my body. How could I have forgotten? Silly me! So instead we get an intense scene where Kang beats the ever-living kimchi out of Hojin until he's out cold. And then we meet this girl. Why does this panel look like it's straight out of a dating sim game? Where are the multiple choice answers? Her name is Kim Myung. They talk a bit. She's generally concerned about him, which seems to be outside a mercenary's skill set. He doesn't know how to react, so he bails. Makes her lead him to the classroom that he couldn't find. So Hojin the Unbreakable politely asks Kang Chen for another beating. He follows him to an obvious trap. They spout more useless villainous lines, but I love the use of color here. It really highlights their sinister nature. They surround Kang, but he doesn't care. He angers them instead. And then, bam, he strikes. He hits this guy so hard that the guy in the background's mask falls out. He's so surprised. Another comical thought. Kang, being a military instructor, begins giving the thugs advice on how to properly fight in a group. So up to this point, I think I've shown enough of the fighting in this manhwa. It's all about the same at this level of the story. Small-time bad guys try to beat him. He beats them. Rinse and repeat. But I have to immortalize this. Ouch. And then finally the danger steps up a notch as a knife is drawn. That doesn't last long either. So Kang picks up the knife and starts seriously threatening Hojin. He knows that unless he puts true fear into this boy, these useless fights will continue. Suddenly, he realizes they're both being watched. It's the PE teacher. He looks kind of dangerous here. This particular instance confuses Kang because is the teacher on the bully's side? And how did he sneak up on him? Well, Kang is trained to detect incoming threats, but he got that close. So he's worried. Like, do I have to fight this guy? But instead, he ends up with this caring teacher that really just wants to stop him from going too far. Now that Kang has a few fights, he begins to change himself to better reflect what's on the inside. He gets this haircut, dresses differently. Kang's father gets a call, and his company is in trouble. Kang hears this and asks if he can help. And then he shows off his perfect French, which ends up becoming the crux of this entire season. I swear they focus on his French ability more than his fighting. God of French is more like it. I love this joke, because honestly, it might be true, knowing his past and the look in his eyes when he says he's just kidding. But Mom doesn't care about that. She's hyper-focused on his French skills, like I told you. Look at the pride on her face. She loves him. But Kang has to lie about how he learned French and say it was from the internet. You can learn anything there. There's another battle, this time on a rooftop, with just more small-time gangsters. And Kang does what Kang does. And the PE teacher shows up again to stop him from going too far. He kicks everyone off the roof and casually chats Kang up. So Kang is very wary about this teacher. This is the second time he snuck up on him. And then the teacher says, "No, Kang," which shakes Kang to his core. And he starts to connect the dots about who the teacher is, but he needs to be sure. So he calls out to him in a rude way and strikes. But the teacher, expertly dodges and even leaves an after image. He strikes back, and Kang definitely dodges as well. Finally, we get an entertaining fight that doesn't even end in one punch. One punch Kang! And it ends like this. The teacher is so confused and says this line. Kang is certain now, so he starts talking to him in English. Yeah, that's right, a third language. What is this, a Rosetta Stone manhwa? Also, they don't even use a new color for English. Whoops. Say my name. And the teacher is shook. He can't believe it. And they jinx each other, and now they can't talk until someone unjinxes them. I mean, come on, it's... Just kidding. Looks like Kang wasn't the only one to reincarnate. That makes this our first double reincarnation. Woo! Blah, blah, blah! So, this guy is someone we saw in the beginning. Remember him? He died too, and now he has a Korean family. Kang reveals he wants to go to France so he can find out who betrayed and killed them. Will they find out who betrayed them? Can he keep pretending to be a high schooler? Will there be about 100 more fights before we find out? Well, you're gonna have to read it for yourself. God of Blackfield, it's fun, fast, an action adventure with tons of bad guys, lots of twists and turns, a bit of love too, but that's it. It's all surface level stuff, nothing groundbreaking. I've read over 100 chapters of this, and it's just more and more of the same. A fun read, or I wouldn't have kept going, but nothing to get excited about. Honestly, its similar counterpart, Mercenary Enrollment, that we did a yap about, does a way better job of rolling emotions and relationships into the story than this beat-em-up Steven Seagal 80s action movie wannabe ever does. I'd give God of Blackfield 3 Michelles out of 5. And remember, don't backstab your friends. Cheers.